Hey friends, Peggy Hall back with you from thehealthyamerican.org. Let's do a deep dive on the $500,000 that the County of Maui was given in 2020 to develop what is called a transit-oriented corridor. Here we are, the transit-oriented corridor master plan in West Maui. And guess what? That is right in the burn area. Let me back up just a little bit and show you that there is a general plan for the County of Maui, and it's called General Plan 2030. Well, what a coincidence, because the United Nations has a 2030 agenda for sustainable development. Well, what a coincidence. The state of Hawaii has an Aloha Plus Challenge dashboard measuring Hawaii's sustainability. And this is exactly what the governor, Josh Green, do deal, as I call him, because he's all in favor of the Green New Deal. And oh, look at here. There are more of those hexagons that are popping up everywhere. I've done a lot of coverage on the X and the hex and the hexagons in my previous videos. Lots of playlists for you below. Let's just listen to Josh Green New Deal himself speaking at the United Nations just a couple of weeks before this intentional disaster on the island of Maui. Let me increase that and we will listen to what he has to say about sustainability goals that are set by the United Nations.
In the old days, decades, generations, and even centuries ago, thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people lived in Hawaii and had a sustainable culture for food. And that was something that we still recognize. To that end, we have done some things, and we hope to be able to share this much more in time. One is the Aloha Plus Challenge, which is a data-driven approach, which we can share with our states and with anyone who feels that it would be helpful to track the SDGs, to make sure that we embed them in all of our policies.
All right. SDGs are the Sustainable Development Goals that are set by the United Nations. So this Josh Green New Deal, with a Band-Aid on his thumb, mind you, I've done lots of videos uncovering this symbolism, and it's likely that now that I've exposed these very strange signs and symbols, that he probably will not be sporting the bandages and the Band-Aids that frequently as he has been. Some of you said that that might be like a little notch in the belt. Every time that he accomplishes one of his dirty deeds, he gets another Band-Aid, and they happen to be on all different thumbs and fingers. And many of you that are diabetic tell me that you don't use a Band-Aid when you do the finger prick testing, and you don't do it on the pad of your thumb. So we can put that type of speculation aside. It's a very strange, bizarre thing, and I believe that he ties it into his symbolism for his build beyond barriers, build beyond borders, build back better. I call it burn back better, in order to create these United Nations sustainable resiliency that he loves to talk about. So the Aloha Plus Challenge is what I just showed you. Let's finish up here. And of course, he's coughing because he can barely croak it out, meaning he is probably not telling the truth. All right, let's just replay that for a moment since I interrupted, and we'll let him spew his lies, and we will read between the lies. All right, here we go.
Making policy.
In the old days, decades, generations, and even centuries ago, thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people lived in Hawaii and had a sustainable culture for food. And that was something that we still recognize. To that end, we have done some things, and we hope to be able to share this much more in time. One is the Aloha Plus Challenge, which is a data-driven approach, which we can share with our states and with anyone who feels that it would be helpful to track the SDGs, to make sure that we embed them in all of our policies.
Oh, God. All right, I have a little friend here keeping me company. Yeah, he had to choke on that because he probably knew that he was just saying what the United Nations wanted him to say. So I want to queue up a couple other things here for you. Let me share my screen again, and we will look right over here. So the County of Maui started its 2030 agenda, as I showed you. And then there are different sections of Hawaii, and we are looking at the West Maui Community Plan that was adopted in December of 2021. And want to show this to you right here. They have this PDF, which I have also, let me see if I can grab that for you. I have also downloaded, and this is what lays out in great detail exactly what they're planning to do to the island in terms of development. This is a year and a half previous to the intentional disaster. And we'll just take a look at the table of contents. Let me increase this a little bit. And it talks about, there's actually a really good history of Maui. I can do a separate video on that for you if you'd like to know more about that, the growth plan and the community map. Now, what I did is I went right to the website and I looked at this transportation-oriented corridor. Look at the language that they have here. Resiliency, right? Safe, healthy, livable communities for all. This is language that comes directly from the United Nations. Now, you may say, well, I think we should have safe, healthy, and livable communities for all. And I would not disagree with you. What I disagree with is the United Nations calling the shots and basically being the government that is overseeing all of these cities and communities. And I certainly object to burning people out of their house and home so that they can then create these transportation corridors directly in the burn area. Here we go. 3.6 miles. Gee, what a coinky dink. 3 sixes. They love their sixes. The goal of this project is to make West Maui more connected, accessible, sustainable, and livable by supporting a transit-oriented community. The project will explore new land use and affordable and workforce housing options. That is such a communistic phrase. I really don't care for that. I don't care for phrases like the middle class, the working class, the upper class. We don't have a classist society, all right? I don't care for that phrase, workforce housing. It also comes from the United Nations. So I showed you previously that there was a $500,000 award back in 2020 for development of the West Maui Transit-Oriented Corridor Master Plan. And let's take a look at exactly what that looks like. Let me cue this up for you, friends. Hang on one second and I will get that queued up. All right, friends, I'm going to share my screen. We are hopping right on over to the West Maui Community Plan. And this is the document that I was showing. That is a download if you'd like to look deeper. And then here we're going to click on the interactive web version of the community plan maps. And this takes us right on over to a software program that is created by this company right here called ESRI. And isn't that interesting that one of the latest cooties variants we were told about is called ERIS. And if you just readjust those letters, it spells out ERIS. And here is ESRI. So ESRI uses that type of software, and that is where it's called GIS, and that stands for Geographic Information System Software. And if you want to dig into this website, it is absolutely just, it goes very, very, very deep. And you'll see they love the spinning earth symbolism. Yeah, I haven't seen it spinning. Not at all. And why can't it be the stars that are moving above us? Why does it have to be the earth that's spinning? I don't have any evidence that I'm on a spinning globe, but that's beside the point for this video. This is of course, you have the butterfly symbolism. That has to be in there. So they can layer the geography. And I do want to give a shout out to Sasha. I don't know how to pronounce her last name, Latipova, who has been doing a lot of research. I don't agree with everything that she does, but she did have some information and she broke the story about the GIS. So I'd like to give credit where credit is due. And that set me off on my own research. And I found out that this is the software that is powering the County of Maui's community planning software. So we're going to increase this map a little bit. And you will see right here is the legend. And the red is the transit-oriented corridor, right? The TOC. And I just want to make sure that I am recording. Yes, I am. Okay, because here we're getting to the heart of the matter. So the red area is where there is going to be this transportation-oriented corridor. Now, look how cool this is. I can click on here and find out who owns it. Oh, there's the Pioneer Mill Company owns this area. And I can click here to get even more information, and it goes to the County of Maui, and I can find out exactly what their taxes are. I've got their mailing address. I've got the owner's address. I can see the market land value. I can see the agricultural land value, how much they paid in taxes, the commercial improvement information. Is this incredible? And I can find that out on every plot of land. So let's just increase a little bit larger here, shall we? And let's click over here. Okay, this is the West Maui Center, and we can click there and find out all about the Lahaina Land LLC. Now, I have not done a deep dive into any of these companies, but I'm just showing you the amount of information that is available at the fingertips of the county. And they also ostensibly would be able to map out what they wanted to get rid of and what they wanted to keep. So let's go up here. These are the residential areas. I mean, I'm telling you, friends, you can click on this, and here is an individual person's name. I'm not going to click through just for, to keep it confidential, but you actually could click through and find out everything about that person, and they're maybe not about the person, but you could find out what the county knows about that owner of the property. I just find this absolutely stunning. Here, you can find out all about who owns these buildings. Now, here's what I find very, very interesting. The red is the area that is set aside for the transit-oriented corridor right through the downtown of Lahaina Town, as it's called, and all the way up here as well. Here is another part for the transportation-oriented corridor, which basically is going to be riding a bike and walking and maybe taking a bus, because they do not want you to have your own private car. And I have this little kitty cat here. How in the non-spinning world am I going to take a little kitty cat to the vet in inclement weather? And what if I broke my ankle? I'm gonna have to ride on a bus to go to the vet with my animals? I do not care for this by force. If somebody wants to choose to walk or ride a bicycle, go for it. I love to ride a bike. I ride a bike every day, but not because the government is forcing me to do it. So let's look here. Here's the resort and hotel area in the brown, and we've got residential here in the yellow. The small town center is the pink, sort of this dusty rose. And let's go out a little bit more. So this is the downtown area. I'm going to show you now a map of the burned area. And here we have it. So this is, let's see if I can get two sides here side by side. All right. So here are the burned areas. And this also came from that ESRI website that I just showed you. I don't even know if I can trust them, but here we go. Here is the red are the damaged buildings. The green is the undamaged area. And although they do not have the streets here, you can pretty much match it up. I think, let me just go a little bit larger. You can pretty much match that up with what I have got here from the County of Maui. How convenient, isn't it, that they now are going to be able to put in their transit-oriented corridor that they have been planning at least since 2020, because that's when they got the $500,000. And you can bet that they are going to be getting millions more dollars for the rehabilitation and the rebuilding. So I also want to share with you a couple of other things, and we will leave off with Josh Greendeal's initial video where he talked about the state taking the land. Hang on one second. I'll get that queued up for you. Friends, I was unable to find that clip about the governor saying, I'm looking for ways for the state to acquire that land, either for workforce housing or to create a memorial. So what happened now is that so many of us have been exposing his evil deeds, and he's been walking back a lot of what he said. And now he says, we want this for the people of Lahaina, and the people of Lahaina will build it back the way they want to, where previously he said build back better. He still has his Build Beyond Barriers working group, and he also has this information, which I broke some time ago, about his housing is healthcare. And so this is his plan, is to set aside all of the laws related to the Hawaiian homelands and other legislative processes that there would be zoning regulations and other restrictions for how this land is used. And now that in the wake of this fire, he's going to fast track exactly how he wants the state to use the land. So thanks everybody for being on board. I will be with you with another deep dive looking more at this Josh Green do deal, looking into his background. It's very evident that he is a United Nations darling. He's a WEFer, and he definitely does not have the best interests of the Hawaiian people at heart.